Hey everybody out there in YouTube land. This is Sam Dennehy, aka Halfass Customs, and this is Halfass Presents the podcast. Well, doing the intro, our special guest today, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name right, his last name right. It's Jeff Noyes, Noyes. Um, he's becoming better known in our little hobby for creating pretty spectacular ambulances in the 187 scale. Been trying to get him on for a while, but he's been pretty busy. So I was finally able to do it. And I think this interview is going to be pretty interesting. I don't know much about ambulances, especially current day ambulances. Everybody knows I am a fan of the classic cars. So if you can get like a 50s ambulance or a 60s ambulance, I'm all over those. I like them. The Ghostbusters car. So yeah, I don't really know nothing about today's ambulances, and he seems to know a lot. So I think it'll be an interesting interview, see where he came from and what his background is, and why he likes ambulances so much. So without that being said, without further ado, hold on, and we'll get him on the interview in just a minute. I hope you like it. And don't forget, I do have a Patreon. It'll be in the link in the description below. It'll help build the podcast better camera, better mic. Maybe I can get a mic down here and then I can just talk into it instead of having my earpiece. And then I'm looking to make some stickers, some Half-Ass Presents the podcast stickers to give out to each one of my guests that come on the show, the podcast. That'll help by that too. And maybe a t-shirt in the future or something. I don't know. I do know that the Patreon will have exclusive content on there that isn't going to be on the YouTube channel. So if you guys are interested in knowing anything else that's going on behind the scenes, that'll be a good way to see it, search it up, and any little donation that you guys give is going straight into the YouTube channel, because I'm doing this all out of pocket right now, and that's why it is what it is. So any extra funding, donations, kindness of your heart, generosity type things will go a long ways. So with that being said, hope you liked the episode. It'll be very interesting, I'm assuming, and we'll see how this goes. Stay tuned. All right, it looks like it's recording. Hey, everybody out there, YouTube land. This is Sam Dennehy, aka Half-Ass Customs, and this is Half-Ass Presents the podcast. Today's special guest is Jeff Noyes. Noyes. He's pretty well known, like I said in the intro, for all the amazing detailed ambulances that he makes. Jeff, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got in this hobby?
Sure. Good evening, Sam, and everybody else watching. So I got into this hobby. Well, when I was a kid, I used to go to the train shows with my dad and my uncle. My dad has been working on his HO scale layout for the last 30 to 40 years. And my uncle has made two different layouts in two different houses that he's had. And yeah, so he's I like his layout. And then that would the second layout, when he finished that, that kind of got me into like starting my own layout. Especially where I like wanted my dad to keep to get to doing his. So I figure if I was doing mine, that would light a fire under his butt to get him started on his.
Right,
And
kind of back and forth. You see
yeah,
his, it lights your fire, and he
yeah,
sees yours, it lights his fire.
yeah, exactly. Like nothing like seeing someone else's come to life to want to do your own. Um, and then like the ambulances started because I've been an EMT for the last 10 years, and it started with me just wanting to make an HO scale version of the ambulance that I drove every day, and then that kind of spiraled out of control to now where I have like over 100 that I've done.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, though. That's neat. So you probably are one of the leaders in that genre of vehicles for this
Yeah,
scale.
I would say so. I mean, not necessarily in like collecting wise, but definitely in like HO scale. I would say, yeah, I've, yeah, I would say that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not that big into ambulances. I even said it in the little intro.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm a classic car nut. I love them. And like
Yeah,
that ambulance hearse you got behind your head, looks like a 60s Cadillac, early 60s. I love those ambulances. 50s and 60s, there's nothing better as an ambulance, in my opinion, than those. I mean, they had lack of room and you couldn't stand up and they didn't hold as much as today's ambulance, but
absolutely.
for
But
styling, oh,
oh, definitely. You know, the company I work for now actually has two Cadillacs. There's a 72 Superior Cadillac, and then there's a 49 Cadillac. That's like, yeah,
49. Oh,
it's kind of an olive green brownish color.
perfect.
Yeah, no, they both of them look very good. The only one that I myself could possibly drive is the 72,
Yeah,
because the 49 is a standard, and
no
you know,
kidding.
I'm one of those millennials that doesn't know how to drive a stick.
Man, I can't imagine that they just get somebody new, like young and new, joining that company, and they say, "Okay, we need you to drive this ambulance because we got the real work in the back." And then he's just like chirping the gears and making the whole car just
Yeah,
jiggle and because he
well, I
can't
mean,
figure it out.
these are like parade pieces, you know.
Yeah,
The
right. But back then in the day,
Oh yeah,
you
absolutely,
know,
yeah.
you get this young kid that just he's learning how to drive a stick on that job pretty much, and he's the whole
Yeah,
back of the car just rocking and rolling because of the. That'd be funny. I doubt that's ever happened, but the fact that it could have just seems funny to me.
yeah, definitely.
That's neat though. So, um, you like obviously trains because you're making a layout. You like ambulances, and that's why you have so many. Um, do you like? Are you more of a train guy, or are you more of a vehicle guy for this
So
scale?
it's definitely more vehicles. My layout isn't actually even set up for trains right now. Um, but I've been looking to. So my layout, like much like other people's, is framework, and then like a piece of plywood on top. So I've been looking to possibly in the next few months. Well, in the few months when it gets warmer, because my layout is in my attic, and my attic
Oh,
is not
unfinished.
insulated.
Right.
So
Yikes.
living up in Massachusetts like I do, right now is the time where I can't really go up there.
Right.
Because well, I mean I can, but I have to put on 3 coats. Um, so I've been thinking about flipping the plywood and then just starting over again, and then adding in the stuff for the trains, because I've been thinking about running an MBTA commuter rail train. There's one that's available. I don't know who makes it, because my dad's had his since I was in short pants. But I'd like to run a little something, anyways.
Yeah, that sounds pretty neat. I was talking to there's a guy named Ken Anderson that lives in the mountains of my state, that I had on the podcast, and he's part of a module train club. And I was looking into switching over my modules to train modules and set everything I have on these onto something like that, so I can get a broader exposure to, my models and whatnot. And I like trains.
Hmm.
I don't care to build a train set. I really don't even care to build a train module. I just want somebody to build it for me, and then I'll buy it off of them, and then I'll set all my crap on top of it.
Yeah.
um, but I figured that way we can get both best of both worlds. We can go to like the Amherst show and set up with the club, with the 187 scale club, and not have to have a train on it, running around a huge module set, and then come to local shows down where I live and set up with them and have like the best of both worlds. That's kind of what I was thinking in the future.
Yeah. I mean, I would. I don't know if I would recognize it, but I would love to see one of your models on one of the clubs up here.
Oh, you
One of
would
your
recognize it. There's
I mean, I
only a
don't think.
handful of ectos that light up in this scale in the
Oh,
world.
all right.
You'll be like, hey, hey, hey,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
where is he? He's got to be here. And then if I'm not there, they probably stole it.
yeah. I mean, I like the Springfield show has like so many of the layouts, and it's I've never seen a really good ambulance on it either. So maybe I should start doing that same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there really isn't. I mean, what isn't probably already pre-made by some company. Um, I would say that you're probably one of the biggest leaders in the ambulance world for this scale. Um, because I mean, I don't go searching for ambulances, but I know since before you started in this group, I didn't really see any. And they would just pop in here or there, but you were posting them all the time. So you seem to be becoming the leader of this ambulance world.
And I kind of saw that too, and because I'd go to shows and I'd see people that did custom vehicles, and I wouldn't see any, or like one or two in the whole show,
Right.
um, and then like nothing for the rest of it. And there's like even in like some of the bigger scales like Lionel, there's there's a gap there too. There's nothing available.
Well, even like non-modern, even the classic ones that the companies make, they're all the same one. They don't
Yeah,
make anything different. And it's really, I mean, it leaves you having to create the difference, repainting it, new decals, whatever, but still it's the same body, it's the same car. There's only say 10 different ambulances that have ever been created for classic vehicle wise ever since the beginning, and
yeah.
everybody has all of those. And so, to see stuff that you're making that doesn't technically exist, by main big company wise, it's pretty neat to see the volume that you can make with that.
Well, I appreciate that. I just saw like there was some missing, and I just tried to put some out there for myself, because my like all of these I've done for myself. I mean, I've done some for like I work on commission a little bit. Um, if a customer comes to me and has something that they have in their mind, or wants something for like a department that they work on or something, I'm more than happy to. With granted, I have a pretty busy schedule, but um, it's mostly for me.
Right, right. Yeah,
And
that's how it was with me too. I kind of just built for me, and then I had a few people that said, "Hey, can you build me stuff?" And I was like, I mean, I can. No, I mostly build for me, but yeah, it's the same thing. Like as long as you can wait for my time schedule, then I mean, anything can be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool though, because I mean, I'm not into ambulances. That doesn't do anything for me, except for maybe if I need it to do something for me in the
Yeah,
future. But as of right now, they don't do anything for me.
yeah.
So, and to see you post them, and I can't tell you how much you post. I don't follow every single post you make, but since you started, it almost seems like it's not nonstop, but it seems like nonstop. Like you've posted so much in such a short period of time of all these different ambulances. It's even though I'm not into ambulances, it's neat to see somebody has that passion to create all these different versions and all these different kinds with all the. I'm sure you're not doing just your state. You're doing other ones for other states and
Yeah,
other cities and other places.
there's been a few. It's it's a lot of Massachusetts, but I've been branching out. Basically, what I was looking to do also is the ones that people or companies had been coming out with is a lot of like fire ambulances for like more
Right.
modern era, like the Boley stuff, and now like that Walters has the molds to those and the license and stuff. They've been putting out like the same thing that Boley was putting out, the fire stuff, and it's like that's that's cool, and that's like if you were just gonna have, okay, I need one for the layout just to have one,
Right.
but like um there's guys and gals, there's folks out there working on private ambulances too, private ambulance companies. Like I work for a private ambulance company, and so the that's the other thing is that like that's cool to have the fire stuff because that's a big thing for like a lot of the country too. But um, there's private ambulance companies out there, and those guys are working hard every day as well. So that's another reason why I do the ones that I do, is because it's like a little tribute to the people who work for that place.
Right. Yeah, it acknowledges them. And that's a neat thing to do. Um, so I guess this isn't model related. This is more real ambulance related. It seems like you only hear them when it's on an ambulance, but what is up with the chains on the bottom of the rear suspension that just drag on the ground and clinkle and clackle the whole time it's moving because of the bumps in the road? Why are those chains there? What do they do? I don't get it.
I've never seen that.
What? Okay, it
Yeah.
can't be just a North Carolina thing.
I
So on the rear suspension, it seems like right where the trail arms go for um, the trail arms from the rear
Yep.
axle, they have out here at least they have these chains. It looks like they're just wrapped up and around them, and I can't figure out why. It doesn't make any sense. And I asked one of the ambulance drivers because we were in the emergency room um, one day, long time ago, this years ago, and I said, "What is up with these stupid chains?" And they said they all come with them. I don't know because I just work here.
Yeah, I
But
mean I'd have to say the same thing. I don't really know. I've never seen that. The ambulance that I am on, like the for my full time schedule is a Ford Transit, the high roof. I did one of the truck that I'm in every day. Um, it's a 3D printed one by model cars guy, like the.
oh, mad about cars?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah,
I knew I'd get there eventually.
yeah.
Yeah, mad about cars. I actually had sent him a message um, on Shapeways, and I sent him the reference photos. I said, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And now he has, I think at least there's three different ones with multiple different versions within the three. So
Right,
there's the raised roof one, which is kind of like the kind of shorter, and then there's the higher roof ones that have like you can stand up in the back, and that's the one that I bought a couple of, and I did one that I work in and one that a friend of mine from paramedic school that he works in.
That's cool, man. That's neat. Yeah, I I used to be a technician for the cable company I still work for, and I always thought it might be cool to get a technician van and deck it all out like the one I used to drive. But then I also thought, why? I love my job. Oh, I don't even love my job. So why would I, why do I need that? I like my
Yeah,
personal cars better than I like the truck I was driving every day as a job.
fair enough.
But
I
I
just spend a
did
lot of
think it might be neat though.
I spend a lot of time in it, and it's like it's my office,
Yeah.
so I
That's how
was
my
like,
van was. Yeah.
you
Same
know,
thing. But still, I always think, do I really want to do it? I can do it. I can get a lot of parts from River Point Station for like the ladders and whatnot, and I can probably 3D print some other stuff. But do I really care to have that? Because it's not going to do anything for me. It's going to sit in a
yeah.
display case and hardly ever get looked at. So I don't know. Probably not. I haven't built it yet, so I probably won't.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I was pretty upset when I heard about River Point Station not doing the ambulances that they had said that they were going to do.
Well, you would be upset
Yeah,
because you like
I mean,
ambulances. Me,
yeah,
I didn't
no,
even know that was going to be a thing. I
yeah,
don't
oh yeah, that
follow
was
the
the
latest news with that stuff.
oh yeah, they had set out to do one of or like one of each type of ambulance. So there's type 1, type 2, and type 3. Type 1 is like your fire department ambulances. One's built on heavy duty truck chassis with like the Ford F450s or
Mhm.
550s, or a GMC 4500. Um, Type 2 is the ones that are like E350 vans and the
Oh,
transits. And then type 3 is your like van cab boxes, the sprinters, or
huh.
the E350 front with the box on the back.
Yeah,
And they
well,
had
I
planned
mean,
out to do each one of those.
well, if you look at the uh, rate that they're going with different versions of vehicles, I mean, they only have one version and they have every version of that one version.
Yeah,
So to actually have to get a sprinter van or a, full size van and just cut the cab off of it to hook that box up to the back, that might have been way too much for that to ask for.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, I had display case space all set up. I was like, I'm gonna
it
get
looks like there's still room in there.
yeah, there's room, but at the rate I build them, sometimes I run out of room a little bit. I actually have there's more off to the side that you can't see, and there's some more behind me too. Not to mention the ones that
Nice.
are still in my in the I have a box of like models that are still in the package that I haven't had a chance to work with yet too.
So, since you build all these custom ambulances and I build custom cars all the time,
Yep.
what do you think your build rate is per vehicle? Like, you don't have to go within like to the minute, but like, does it take you a day, 2 days, a week to do one vehicle? Like, if
It
you had
depends.
every part, if you had all the parts that you needed in hand, so you didn't have to outsource stuff or wait for stuff to come in, how long do you think it would take you?
Um, it depends on
'Cause I know you're busy too.
yeah. So what I like to do is like sometimes I'll come home from shift, and if I have one that needs to be painted, I'll paint it, and then like when the weekend comes up, I'll do the decals and then do the clear coat. Um, that's typically how it goes. I would say probably not having to build anything myself, probably 2 hours. It goes up from there once I start having to, like, especially the Ford F450 cab ones I've done, where you know, I had to let the glue set for the cab between the cab and the box. Those ones go up a little more because sometimes I get a little impatient and I got to glue it 2 or 3 times.
Oh, I know all about that.
You know,
I
I was
use
like,
super
oh,
glue for most of my stuff.
you know what? You can't beat super glue, and I did
No,
the same thing. But then it's like, if it wasn't completely set, and then I started doing decals, and then I realized that I wanted like a stripe to wrap around the box so that it matches up with where I put it on the cab, and
right.
then I gotta like break it apart, and you know, that kind of thing. So
That's the
like,
worst
I,
part.
I would say between like 2 and 4 hours, I would say.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I don't work all day at building a car. I'll do a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. It may take me a full day to get it done,
Yeah,
but when I break it down, I honestly think I'm probably around the same as you. A total build time from start to end, complete without breaks or nothing, probably 2 to 4 to maybe 6 hours. But I take breaks all day long, because I'll be caught up doing something, or I might need to do the laundry, or I might, whatever, I might be hungry and need to eat lunch, or.
yeah.
But yeah, if you take out every little break, I think it's probably around the same as you. That's pretty neat because a lot of people are so slow. Like so many people, they take forever to build stuff
And
sometimes.
like, I kind of admire that sometimes because it's like it's like I said, sometimes I get a little impatient. I do things too quickly. But if I was more like someone who built a little slower, then uh, you'd have more time to put into it, and then you know, maybe things don't go quite quite pear shaped. At like,
Right.
sometimes with the decals too. So like, that's when I order them from and I'll just plug them right now. My all my decals that I've done, yeah, like 95% of the decals that I've done have been done by Circus City. Um,
Oh, okay.
Matt
Nice.
is a great guy. I don't know if you've ever worked with him, but uh,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah. They did the
so
DeLorean, or they did the Back to the Future train decals
yeah,
from the third
and
movie.
he just does a great job, and like, quick sometimes, but I don't get down on him or anything like that, because it's like he's got things going too. I'm not the only customer, um,
Right.
but yeah, he's done 95% of the decals I've done, and will continue to.
Yeah. I mean, if they know what they're doing and they got the skills to pull it off, I mean, and it's affordable, might as well,
Yeah,
you know?
well, that's the thing. Like, I can't do everything, so like, it's easier to find somebody else that can do it better than me, and just
Right.
have them.
Yeah. Well, that's like the Ghostbusters car. I have East Coast Circuit do all the LED work because I can't do any of that stuff.
Yeah, and
So,
and and that guy does like amazing work. So much
right.
so that, like, I asked him about doing an ambulance for me, and he said, like, maybe April.
Yeah, no. So check this out. Right when COVID hit, um, I sent 3 cars out to him, 2 Knight Rider cars and 1 Ecto car.
Yep.
Still haven't got to it, and it's January. And my customers are like hitting me up every 3 months. Any word, any word? No. I mean, I could hit them up and they'll tell me the same thing they did the last 2 months ago, but
Yeah.
he said, I guess it was they're a pair people that own the company or run the company, and they have other people work with them or for them. And because of COVID and, the first round of the wave that came through and the government shut most business or a lot of businesses down, they had to shut their business down, and it was only one or both of them working when they had to let the rest of the people go or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. So they're work is slowed down big time, like almost to a crawl. So,
But you can't
I
put
mean, it is what
a
it is.
rush on like the work that they do.
No,
Because like
not at all.
it's second to none, you know.
Right. It's great. I mean, you see back here, I got 3 Ghostbusters cars, and I mean, their work is phenomenal. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't even want to do it. So, I mean, the fact that they're doing it, good for them. At
Yeah.
least somebody's doing it. And you know what you could probably look into? Another guy I had on the podcast, his name is John Howard. He was the very first person to ever light up one of these 187 scale Ghostbusters cars. And when he was done, he sent it to me and says, I will never do another one. This thing was a pain in the butt. So then I had to find somebody else to do it, and that's who is now doing it. But he does a lot of the he posts on our group, and he does a lot of the fire trucks and cop cars and stuff. I don't know if his time frame is going to be just as long or not, but I know his pricing isn't much off than what East Coast circuit
Yeah.
is. So he might be
I mean,
somebody. If you were looking
I'm not
into
really in a
getting
rush,
into
anyways. So
right,
it's kind of like whenever someone who can do it has the time. Not
yeah,
really like it's not something I'm like really like looking for. I mean, I do
right,
want to do it in the future, just probably more like when I get my my layout, uh, decide whether I'm going to do it over or keep it the way it is, because then I could have it up there on the layout and instead of in the display case.
right. Well, hey man, I mean, you look at behind me; those are full of cars, and then it's full of cars up there, just in the display case because I don't have a layout, and I have a few
Yeah,
cars on the module back here, but I mean, those get dusty real quick, and I have to keep blowing them off all the time to make them still look good. Everything
yeah.
else doesn't really get dust on it, and that's where all my cars stay. 'Cause,
I like those. I like those cases off to your right there.
yeah, a lot like your cases. They're just a little bit bigger. Your case is more
Those are
confined, though. Yours is more.
these are Hot Wheels,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. These were
and
made for trains to sit in.
yeah,
So they're taller, and I could literally use a shelf in between each because of the space gap in between them. And I got them. Dan Goins, that was at the RPM meet in St. Louis, the year before last. He was selling a whole bunch, and Joseph Bolivins bought all of them, every one of his. And then these two had little defects, and he says, "Hey, you want them?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I want them." If you're gonna give them to me, I'll take them. But yeah,
maybe
he
that's what
probably
I got to look into for some of the ones that don't fit in here because I currently have. It's actually I went on Amazon and there was it's clear styrene
Mhm.
and it's for nail polish actually.
Oh,
So
nice.
but when I put them together, I flip the shelves upside down so you don't put it inside; it sits on the top. And there's I have two 3-tier ones. Um,
That's cool.
so one of them has some of the models that are too long to fit in
Right.
these ones, and the other one has all of my Chicago Fire stuff on it because they
That's
can't fit
cool.
either.
Did the nail polish shelves come with a glass cover to like keep the dust off, or are they open?
No, it's open. It's
Oh,
actually
okay.
it's three tiers. Let's see if I can. Right, it's right there. If you can see that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they work out pretty well. I'd prefer kind of something kind of closed, but they're they're fine for now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for now, it's better than nothing. Sitting on a table with the rest of your, work
Yeah,
progress stuff. So that's cool. That's neat.
yeah, and they weren't expensive either.
Well, those Hot Wheel ones are really cool because even though our scale is half the size, I mean, those are the closest thing we're gonna get to our scale because they don't make display cases for our scale.
Yeah.
Unless you go like that, and that's for trains, not for cars.
Well, the thing with these ones, the Hot Wheels ones, is that they're getting kind of scarce now. So the I like the way they fit together. So I have that whole wall that's 4x4 right now, but I also
Okay.
have they come in packs of 2, and I have 2, 4, 6 more right now. But I've been hesitating to put them up because it goes a little high, and
Yeah.
without putting screws in, I don't want to go any higher than this.
Right, right. So how many models do you think you've built or have collected for those displays? Like how much do you think you have in those?
All of them are full except for 3,
And
and each
how
one
many?
of them holds 32. Yeah,
Dang. So you have hundreds of cars in
yeah.
there.
So there's the ones that I've done, and there's also any other HO scale ambulances are all in there too. Um, there's a lot of European stuff because the Germans are a big fan of model trains, and
Hmm.
then um, there's some older stuff. There's some new stuff. Um, I have every Bush ambulance. I have every Trident ambulance, and there's a few other ones in there. Every Boley. So if I also collect the stock models as
Hmm.
well as like making my own.
Yeah. Well, even the stock ones, say you got more than one of the same one. I mean, that's a good basis to, start with making a different version of it if you
Yep,
wanted to
and
go that far.
that's a little bit how I got started doing like custom ones too. Was because there's a Boston Children's ambulance that I did, and I took a 4-door international cab with the chassis on it, and I put the Boley box on the back of it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like the children's truck." And then I sent off the reference photos to Matt at Circus City, and I had him do the decals for it, and that became that. But I had the truck sitting there since I think Boley might have still actually been in business when I first did that one.
Wow.
So that was sitting around for like a while, and I waited for the decals to be done, like because I wasn't going to do them myself, and I hadn't known about, like, when I first started doing it, I hadn't known about like custom people doing it, so I
Right,
kind of
right.
like left it alone for a while, and then I did the same thing for a couple other ones. Just wanted to do like big, like critical care trucks like that.
That's cool though. I mean, that's neat. I These are the only two display cases like this that I have, and each one can hold about 10 to 12 cars long in it, and there's 7 shelves high. So, I mean, I easily have over 200 cars in both of them, and they're all the custom cars I made. I don't have no stock cars in there. But then behind me, those are full of stock and custom cars. And then I don't have just the 187 scale. I have other scales in there too. But yeah, I kind of those are more expensive than these, crazily enough. Like
Yeah,
that tall one, I can go to the Facebook marketplace and pick one of those up for like $50 within like 100 miles of me. When
yeah,
if you go online, you can find that thing for like probably $50 to 100. And as long as you can haul that thing back to your house, it's well worth the $50. And then that
Yeah,
shorter one I
absolutely.
got for free. They were going around the block. I was taking my daughter to school and they were just going to throw it away. So they put it down at the curb. And I looked at it and I was like, this is really nice. So I dropped my daughter off and just picked it up and ran with it. So if you have the space to put big stuff like that in, those are worth it. I'd say more than buying something like that. But if you don't have the space, then you got to just waste the money on stuff like that. So Massachusetts, huh?
Yep.
Been up there your whole life?
Yep.
Did you go
Born and raised.
Did you go to Springfield last year? Last year this time?
No, I was working. I haven't been to Springfield in probably 2 years, maybe.
Oh, that was my first time was last year.
But before then, like I had gone to Springfield, probably every year since I learned to walk.
Wow.
So I've been going to that show specifically, and then there's a few other ones that that myself and my dad and my uncles have gone to, like locally, but like Springfield is always like the biggest one, like the biggest draw.
Yeah.
And like we'll be looking for something, or I'll be looking for something, or my dad will be looking for something, and be like, "Oh, it's all right. We didn't find it here, but like Springfield is in a couple of months,
right?
So
we'll definitely find it there."
or like at least look for it, because it's like 4 buildings or 5 buildings, and
that are all very big buildings.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That place is no. It's a lot of walking too.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to see everything, definitely. If you just want to skim through everything, then you can walk through it real quick, but then you're going to miss so much.
Yeah, I'm not really one for skimming. I like getting in there, talking to people too,
Right.
Hey, have you seen this around? I'm looking for this. Like, because all those guys know each other, all the sellers, everything.
Right.
And there's always been like a few guys that I've always like gone to. A lot of the Boley stuff that I have all came from like the same seller, because he'd have like big like the plastic boxes for like Christmas decorations type of thing, and everything was like discounted. So I just go through and like, oh, you got all of these, and I'm paying like half price.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, I'm getting all of these.
Yeah, we have we don't have a big show in our city. Like, well, in my city we don't have any shows, but in the next city over, about once or twice a year, a train club throws a big show, swap meet, and that's usually where I find a lot of my cheap like crap 187 scale vehicles. You can find them for like $1 to $2 to $3 to $5, and then ones that are more high end, and they're really discounted even then. And I'll go with like $50 and just get piles of cars coming home with me, stuff that I see and I'm like, maybe I'll have a use for this, but maybe not. But for the price, why pass it over? Just pick it up anyways. But yeah, and then other than that, I'm just having to go to like eBay or Facebook places and try to find cars to buy, because I have no hobby shops in my city, none, and none of the ones surrounding cities are worth a damn anyways. So everything's either a toy show or an eBay buy or something.
Yeah, there's no hobby stores in my city either. There used to be one when I was a kid that was down the street, but he never had much of a it was a toy store as well, so he never had much of a huge selection. I went in there a couple of times with my dad. It was more focused on Matchbox Hot Wheels.
Oh, okay.
And I've always been kind of the opinion that like Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars on like an HO scale layout, to me, never looked really that great.
To most people.
So I've
Good thinking.
like I've always thought that, and so like you know, especially with the availability of well, that's the other thing is those are 94 cents.
Yeah.
Versus like your Bush or like Oxford stuff is like
right. $10
$5,
or more.
$6, $10,
Yeah.
you know. So like I understand it, but it's not what I'd prefer. Like I all my stuff is I have some Matchbox stuff, but it's been kit bashed.
Yeah. Well, so before I started customizing in this 187 scale, I was customizing in Hot Wheel scale. And so most Hot Wheel customizers are also collectors in a sense. And
Yeah.
because they're so cheap, I mean, you're going to get loads of them over a small period of collecting because they're just everywhere and they're cheap as can be. Even the collector cars are, a collector car is as much as one of our 187 scale cars, high-end cars, you know? So, I mean, you still get it. And I probably had like 5,000 Hot Wheels at one time. I still probably have 3,000 in my storage shed. Just sitting there waiting to do something with, and I'll probably never do anything with them. But yeah, I was customizing those first, and I agreed though they're not good for HO scale layouts because there's something wrong with that scale because all the cars are made to be kind of cartoony and oversized and undersized in certain areas anyways. So
Yeah.
they always, and HO scale is made to fit that scale. It's not made to be cartoony and oversized or undersized. So to see those cars on there, if you did think they looked good, then there's something wrong with you. You hear that, people? There's something wrong with you.
I mean, I'm not going to go that far, but this isn't my podcast.
You
so
have
I'll
debt prevention problems. You can't see size scale the right way. Now, here's what blows me away. When I was at that Amherst show, there was a train guy that was running an auto rack that was probably 100 auto rack cars deep. And the whole auto rack was full of cars, from cheapy cars to middle range cars like the Malibu Internationals or whatnot, to a few of them were like more a little bit higher end cars. And I thought that guy has more money in those cars on that one train than he has in the train itself. Because each rack probably held, I don't know, 15, 20 cars maybe. I don't know. They're the longer, like 70s style auto racks. I don't know. I could be wrong in that too. But I mean, they were 3-tiered and they looked like they held at least 5 to 7 cars on each rack. So nonetheless, to have that many cars, that is a shit ton of money just for the trade, just for the trade to be pulled in that.
So, speaking of cars, locally, my uncle had opened his layout up to there's like it's a tour, like a self-guided tour.
That's
it's
cool.
called the Tour de Chooch, right?
Nice.
And, so like I don't exactly know how you get into it, but they provide you with like a list of these people who have opened their homes to show off their layout. So
usually during like the Amherst meet, they'll have a bunch of people that join up for that, so other people don't just board for that show. They can go to other layouts.
I kind of like did security for my uncle, like when he opened his up, because he did it like 2 or 3 years ago, and then this past year, and they do it around Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's neat.
So, but like speaking of cars, there was I remember one guy came through and he kept the first time, right? And he kept asking my uncle, like, "Oh, this car is like is great, dude. Like, where'd you get this one?" And my uncle's like, I don't know. I bought that like 30 years ago. I have no
Right.
idea who makes that. I have no idea. And but like my uncle has a lot of like money into just vehicles on the road, and everything's like some of the ones are custom. Um, I know that he has so he bought a hearse, and his layout is for reference is like early '60s.
Oh, okay.
So he had a hearse, and he had a limousine for like he has a funeral going on
Hmm.
at the cemetery on his layout, and so he bought this uh, El Camino, and he painted it up black and did like silver trim on it to use as a flower car.
Nice.
Yeah, it came out really good, and but yeah, he has a lot of time and money into like the cars on the layout.
That's cool because that's a lot of people that build layouts. That is the one lacking area they seem to skip on. They'll do great with scenery and buildings and street signs and lights and roads, and then their roads are empty. Especially like a city scene. They'll have this nice little sized city, and they'll only have like a few cars on there. And you're like, that city would have a lot more vehicles in it if you paid attention more to that city.
That's a thing I've always had with some of the layouts that I've seen in like Springfield too, because you're
Yeah,
looking at like miles and miles of road,
right.
and there's not a lot of cars on there, and like I understand it because like some of them are by like train nerds, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah,
you
their
have like
passion is trains, not
yeah,
cars, so they're focused on that.
but like my uncle's layout, I like the way it's organized because it's kind of you go from he has like vignettes, like just small things where there's like something going on, and then you take like a half a step to the right, and you keep going around, and you just move from like one little thing to the next little thing to the next little thing, and
That's
then
neat.
the next, and then by the time you know it, you've gone around the whole thing, and now you're back
Yeah,
at where you started, and
that's neat
you're
though.
like, well, I just took like a little journey because
Right,
there's
right.
a short story that goes with all of the things.
Because I would say a lot of layouts, and I haven't been to a lot of layouts, but I've seen a lot of layouts online, Facebook or YouTube videos or whatever. You have these long expanses of just scenery and detail, but there's nothing happening. You have like a road, and then you have like double set of tracks or three sets of track. You have the background of sky and whatever, and there's just nothing. It's just there for scenery to get the train from one side of the layout to the other. And you think there's so much opportunity that you could have put there. Little tiny little things in between the trees or something, or whatever, that there's definitely opportunity. And I think they're mostly worried about just getting that train from point A to point B that they skip on, the extra scenery details that you can make scenes with instead of just scenery.
I've always liked like I've seen layouts where people have kind of hid things in there,
Yeah.
and I've always appreciated that. Like I saw a layout one time that had a there was a spaceship abducting someone,
Oh, nice.
like a UFO, and
Yeah.
there was like they had it rigged so there was a light that was coming down from the UFO, and it was illuminating like a person looking up at it,
There's
and
actually a kit. Some company makes a kit that does that.
yeah.
So that's a neat thing that, if you have the foresight to have the imagination to make your layout interesting for people to see and enjoy, that's
Yeah,
little things like that are definitely appreciated. But I think it gets lost a lot when you're looking. I mean, you're seeing a layout that was made just for that person. just for the person that made it, that runs it, that plays with it. It's just made for them to run their trains on. It's not really made for little tiny hidden secrets to look for. But I mean, who knows? I don't know. You can make little tiny secrets with little dioramas too. William Radcliffe does that, and he does a really good job at building little tiny dioramas. And like you just turn the corner on it, and there's little things going on that you have to really look for to see. And it's pretty neat when people do that. More people need to do that.
Yeah, it's a good it's a good viewing experience, you know.
Right. Yeah,
Like
I think
if you have a big thing of like woods, you know, be funny if like you know because not everyone's gonna see it too. So you
right.
just hide something in there. It's like oh if you look real close, you can see that there's a Bigfoot in the woods,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
or something
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah, something subtle. It doesn't have to be something big. Just make something subtle for the few viewers that might see it go, "Oh, did you notice that? Oh, that's neat." It doesn't have to be big and loud and for everybody to know, just for those very few people that really, really see it and can pass on that knowledge. I think it would be neat. I was just watching, I had my daughter um try, she got bored and left, but try to watch the movie Hot Shots from the 90s.
Yep.
And in that movie, there's a scene where they're taking one of the actors in an ambulance, and another actor is being drugged by his parachute along with the ambulance. If you could animate your layout with one of the ambulances moving, have that scene happen, I think that'd be funny. Nobody would most likely get it, but for the few that do,
Yeah.
those are the winners.
No, I do remember that because he's on the stretcher and like things keep hitting him. Like they
Yeah,
open up the ambulance doors
right.
and like he gets hit in the head. And yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that would be great. But it's one of those things that only very few people would get. And
Yeah,
it's mostly funny for you, not for anybody else. No, I love that stuff. I think it'd be really cool to kind of make little dioramas of comedy scenes that are very influential in your childhood or your growing up that made you laugh and make you remember it, and then see how many other people get it.
yeah,
Not a lot will, but for those few that do. Like my Mel's Diner back here, I put all the movie cars that I have in front of Mel's Diner, and most of those movie cars are like 1970s and 80s movies that our millennial kids don't know nothing about. And so they're always like, and I when I was at the Amherst show, I was like, can you name each car and where it's from? And they'd get maybe half of them, and they didn't know the other half. And it's like,
yeah,
dude, you damn millennials. But it's not their fault. It's, I guess, Hollywood's fault. They need to make more movies with cars being the characters and not just the actors being the characters.
Have you done the cars from American Graffiti?
I did three of them. I sold the yellow Deuce, so it's a yellow 32 Ford. I
Yep.
sold that, and I said I was going to make another one, and I never did. But I have the 55 Chevy that Harrison Ford drive. Nope. Yeah, Harrison Ford drives that one. And I sold one and I built another one. And then I had the T-Bird that the pretty blonde was driving, and I sold that one. And I have another T-Bird, so I can make another one. I just haven't. And I haven't done the 58 Impala yet that whatever his name in the movie drives, because I want to get a special set of decals made, that red line that follows the body trim, because I don't want to
Yep.
paint it, and I don't have the skills to make that body trim line myself. So I want a set of decals made so I can paint the whole car white, put the chrome trim on it, and then put the decal right next to that chrome trim so it looks like the actual car.
Yeah.
Because they make Hot Wheels ones already done, but guess what? Too big. So
Yeah, and that's not the same as like building it yourself. And
right,
it also, if you bought that one, it wouldn't go with any of your other ones.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and just like the Munsters house that's like right here. I only have this Munsters car because of Joseph Belivens. He printed a 3D print of it and he downscaled it from a much bigger scale. But I wouldn't have that if it wasn't for him. And that's 187 scale. I could have easily bought the Johnny Lightning 164 scale ones. They're everywhere,
Oh yeah,
but it's too big and I don't want it big. So I'd rather not have it at all than have something that looks out of size. But that's me. And
yeah. No, I understand.
that's why I was happy about these Ghostbusters cards, because as soon as Mad About Cars came out with that,
Yeah.
I probably was the first person to buy that print or that design from Shapeway from him. And then I can't stop making them for people. Every time I get one and I post it, look, this is the latest custom car that I built. I get a flood of IMs and PMs of, hey, how much? I want one. I want one. So that's my most popular model.
Yeah, I saw that with your with the firehouse
Yeah,
and
I have.
the 187th Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I just finally got those. I actually bought those 3 times. The first time, the money didn't go through. Like 2, 3 weeks later, and the guy said I never got it. And I said it shows that it got paid. And then a month later, it goes back into my bank. I'm like, what is wrong on your end? On my end, it's sending, but your end, it's not receiving. And then it gets sent back to me. And then I bought it again. The same thing happened. I finally said, screw it. I'm going to go with eBay. eBay is a trusted source. If they don't get the money to you, then it's on eBay's end, not my end. So I bought it on eBay, and like a month and a half, 2 months later, I finally get them in the mail. I'm like, yes, finally. It only took 2 years to do it.
How's the painting on them?
Phenomenal. I mean, they're like what's that figurine company that starts with a P?
Prizer.
Prizer. They're their quality. Even the little details,
Okay.
like they got proton packs on their back, and each proton pack has some kind of wire going to the phaser or whatever they call that. And I mean, they didn't have to add that at all. I don't think their 3D printer or whatever they use to make those figurines has the capability of making that wire. So they added that. They have all the little colors of the proton pack. Their suits are good. They even have little tiny name tags without lettering, but they have that black mark where there would be a name tag on there. They're so good. Like, I'd recommend that. It's called Selling Miniatures. That's what IG is called, and their face or their eBay name is called, I think. But their quality is far none the best that I've seen for this scale. I mean,
I was looking at the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, even Fraser don't have, eyeballs and lips that are colored, and neither do these, but they don't need them. They're too small to really fully get into that anyways. But everything else is there. Even Winston, which is the black guy in the movie, he's a darker skin than the other 3.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that they did that. And they make a shit ton of other characters. All the Marvel movies, a lot of cartoon characters, a lot of they're getting into like famous musicians. They got like ZZ Top and Eminem and Aerosmith, and they got a ton of options to choose from in this scale.
Dude, with all the hot rods you got to get ZZ Top.
Right.
You could basically do like a stop motion sharp dressed man video.
Yeah, I really could. Well, I have the ZZ Top Eliminator, that red 33 Ford. Yeah. I could do She's Got Legs all in stop motion animation. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, they have the option to I just posted the other day on the Facebook group that I found. I don't watch the cartoon, but some kind of cartoon where there's this greenish silver spaceship, and it's a cartoon hovermobile, and they make the two characters that go along with that spaceship. I was going to buy those two characters from them and then set that on my module somewhere with them standing next to it. The kids would understand what that was. I've never even seen the cartoon. I just know that it
The Rick and
exists.
Morty?
Rick and Morty. Yeah, I've never watched that. I I don't even know what it's about, but I picked that up because it's actually super close, if not dead on to 187 scale. And I thought, if they didn't make the figurines, I just set it on the module anyways. But they make those figurines, so boom, that's a plus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see what all they have like in terms of like something that I would want. I have
They
I my dad got me it. It's I have a 3D printed TARDIS from Doctor Who, the
oh,
police
that's neat.
box spaceship. So that's
That's
like
awesome.
that's a thing like a little hidden thing on my layout.
Right,
It's
right.
in for the group Scaled Emergency. It's in some of the background of some of the photos that I've taken. It's
That's
in the
cool.
so like I took pictures of some of the police stuff I've done and just had collected too. And it's in the background. It's like in between. I have a hobby store on my layout and the courthouse are next to each other, and in the alleyway between them is where that police box is.
So the police box, is that a telephone booth or
Yeah.
what is that? Okay.
So in
It's a
back
British
in the
telephone booth, right?
yes, but
Yeah.
it's for the police.
Okay.
So it's how they call the station in like
Hmm.
I want to say the 1800s.
Right,
And
right.
so you'd be you'd be a police officer on your beat, and then you can call back if you need something, like if you need the paddy wagon or whatnot. And also, what they used to do is because it's big enough, what used to do is they put drunks in there until the paddy wagon can come pick them up.
That's cool. That would be neat is if, and they haven't done it yet, but I might have to mention this to them to see if they'll do it. It would be neat is if on the other end of the street they had Bill and Ted's phone booth, and then Bill and Ted would like be standing right outside of the phone booth, ready to go in or out of it or something.
Yeah,
And
that would
not a
I
lot of
would
people would get that, but some would. You
yeah.
know, it'd be
Or when
kind of
they're
neat.
doing their like signature poses, the
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. Like stand right outside of the telephone booth like that, because
yeah.
for the few they would know what that is, but for the other few, maybe the younger kids, they'd be like, whatever, they just
And
pass
I'm
it
sure
along.
someone makes an Abraham Lincoln because the Civil War train
Oh,
layout thing is
definitely.
big.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that it would be neat. But they also, so not only do they make a bunch of those movie, TV, cartoon characters, they make other regular figurines. A lot of rescue mission or rescue law enforcement ones and stuff. So they make a ton of stuff in almost every genre of, say like the last 100 years of people, because they don't have Western people on there.
I
Not
noticed they're
yet.
all like some of them are like are kind of silly too. Like I know they did the like African casket dancers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
They did that
saw that.
real quick too.
Yeah, one of the other hobbyists, uh, Jay Zerenner, he got those.
Oh, nice. And that's what's funny too. Like cartoons, movies, TV shows, that's gonna last a lot longer than those African coffin dancers. But for the little moment in your life, you'll remember what that was. And
Yeah,
people before you that that aren't on social media will have no idea, and people behind you that are just coming up, 20 years after you when this happened, they'll be like, what is going on? But you'll always remember.
yeah.
It's kind of neat. And then the people around your age that grew up with you will always know it. It's just be like a secret society of
Yeah,
people that know.
absolutely.
That's what's neat about a lot of things, though. Like the whole layout here. I mean, you got Ghostbusters, Munsters. I got the Psycho House and Mel's Diner all in one module. That's very specific to an older generation because if you look at people that were born in 2000 or later, and most of them will know what Ghostbusters is, but they're not going to know what any of the other stuff is. They're not going to watch American Graffiti. That's sort of a boring movie unless you like cars. And the Munsters, that's a black and white TV show from the 70s. You know, they're not going to go back and watch that stuff. And Psycho, they're not going to watch the original for sure. Maybe the remake, maybe the TV show, but definitely not the actual movie. So a lot
You
of
mean the
stuff
one with
is,
Vince Vaughn?
yeah. And then the TV show, maybe they'll watch the TV show, but that TV show was it was more geared towards people that had seen the movie and the original movie. It wasn't
Yeah.
for brand new people not knowing anything about it, being like, "Oh, I love this show." It's more geared to like more fans. So I don't know. I kind of wish more things in present day uh, social media and TV would have more iconic things that you can put on a layout, for to bring in younger people. I've said it on numerous podcasts. I said, or numerous episodes. The only thing we really have right now is like Transformers, and they don't make all the cars for them in this scale. And if you had all the Transformer cars, maybe you'd bring in more people. And then Fast and Furious, but they don't hardly make any of those cars in this scale. What other movies are there that use the vehicles as a character of the movie? Hardly none. So to like try to get younger people to want to build neat stuff, Hollywood's kind of let them down, I guess. I don't know. Good stuff was back before and right around when I was born.
Yeah, I mean that does make sense. Because I'm sitting here now that you mentioned that, and I'm trying to think of like you said, movies where the vehicles were kind of the star,
Yeah,
and like
I mean definitely
like the Fast and the Furious is
Fast and
kind of like
Furious.
the most
Yeah,
recent one, Gone in 60 Seconds.
yeah. And then only one car is like really famous, but it's only
Yeah,
famous to people that have seen that movie. If you see that car, nobody would even really know what it was from. But if you saw like a Fast and Furious car, you would pretty much know, oh, this must be from that car movie where all the cars are racing.
yeah,
And then Transformers, if you had like Optimus Prime, like I have Optimus Prime, everybody knows what that diesel truck looks like.
yeah.
And then Bumblebee, everybody knows what Bumblebee looks like. The rest of them, not really. But you get those two famous cars, you're going to be like, that's the Transformers stuff. But nothing else on TV or movies is really doing that for people to try to model anymore. It sucks.
Well, I guess I'd say the most recent one that I can think of now that I'm sitting here thinking about it is Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah,
That had some like wild
right.
cars in there.
Yeah, I had made a TV movie car group, vehicle group that I created, and I had people in, and we had a contest 2018 for that theme, Mad Max theme, custom build off, and I built some cars with that theme in it, and so did all the people that joined in that thing. But yeah, that might be the only other one that used the vehicles as sort of a character too, because those were pretty iconic vehicles for that movie.
Absolutely. And just like craziness.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just extreme, wild, crazy vehicles that you wouldn't forget.
Have you done the car from the original Mad Max, the black?
No, because up until Mad About Cars, they didn't really make that car, and if they did, if a European company did or wherever, it wasn't that actual car. So you would have had to customize to make the black version of it.
Yeah.
And the black version is got like a different nose different front end. I think a different rear end, maybe. I don't know. It's got different stuff. And I didn't want to fabricate anything for it. I would rather Mad About Cars design it. And all I got to do is paint it.
Yeah. I have seen a couple on different ones on Shapeways that are advertised as HO scale. The one that I personally would want to do is the other ones from the beginning of the film, the red, white, and yellow.
Ones?
Or,
yeah.
The red, yellow, and blue. I kind of like those a little better myself because they're like less iconic,
right?
But still,
they're still important.
But still neat.
Yeah, they're still super important. I mean, you don't get to the end of the movie without having all that in the beginning of the movie happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
So they're super important for that movie to have those cars be like that. But yeah, I just think it sucks. They need to definitely make more movies and TV shows that have more famous stuff that you can downscale and model, because this stuff is from the 70s and 80s and partly 90s, I think. Well, not really 90s. The Ghostbusters 2 movie came out in 89. But yeah. I mean, it's old stuff. It's still being produced today, but it's old stuff for the older generation. There's nothing new being made Hollywood-wise for anybody to bother making model kits for, to put on a train layout, to have, say you're going to do a modern day 2000s train layout and you wanted every movie related thing you could. There's nothing really out there.
Yeah.
So you're going to be stuck. Say you're like 20 years old and you're modeling stuff that was 40 years ago. And you're like, but I want it for today. I want modern stuff today. There's nothing for you. There's nothing out there for you. Famous wise. Yeah. There are modern buildings, modern cars, but famous, recognizable stuff, there's not much to model. So,
well, from what I understand, licensing is kind of like messed up, because even
get over even it. Like just figure it out.
I mean, believe me, I'm completely with you, because like there would be some things that I would want to have on my layout that are like from then, newer stuff, because I got some hidden things on my layout that are. I have a spinner, the police cars from Blade Runner.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's that's one cool. That a company come out with that's about 1/87 scale, and it's from the new movie, Blade Runner 2049. That's on my layout, but I would want some more like stuff that's more recent,
Yeah.
Iconic.
I mean, I would take a car or two from the newest Total Recall movie. I kind of like those cars because they hovered on top of the ground and then they kind of hovered beneath a rail of, there were two kinds. And just the idea is neat. Even though they're not super iconic, like you would remember that when you saw it, but I remember it and I thought they were cool. It'd be neat to do that. I know they make I Am Robot. Is that the movie with Will Smith? iRobot. That Audi that he drives that gets totaled in the tunnel.
Yeah.
They make that car. That's a pretty neat one. But then again, if you've seen that movie, you know what it was. If you didn't, you'd be like, the hell is this? They just need more stuff. I don't know. Hollywood needs to make more stuff iconic for other manufacturers to want to model. Because we're all stuck in the old days with our models that are famous. Don't get me wrong, that's my era, but there's nothing really new coming out for people to model. But the only thing cool in today's society is those selling miniatures people, because they've got all those Marvel characters. They got all the DC characters, so you could have like a whole entire Marvel movie fight on your layout in just a downtown. If you really wanted to, you spend a lot of money on those figurines, but they have all that stuff and you can make a modern day Marvel fight out on your layout if you wanted to, with just the figurines. You didn't need any vehicles that are special to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty neat.
Right. That's probably the closest any millennial or later modeler will be able to get for modern day movie related stuff is just figurines and just from them. But oh well, I don't know. I mean, you could do a lot of like emergency scenes with all your ambulances, and if you chose to get fire trucks or police cars or whatnot, and you have the opportunity because of your quantity of ambulances to do some little dioramas or some scenes on your layout, depending on how big your layout is, of like accidents and stuff. So that's neat. But I don't know that you
So,
want to do that. But
and I have. So what I've done for people and some other things in 187th for my layout, I made kind of everything modular, so I can. So and I took a page out of my uncle's book, and what I did was I cut up the boxes for the Bush vehicles, like the clear plastic, and I made bases for the people. So if they're like for standing people, anyways.
yeah,
I made it so that, or I put the people standing on the clear plastic bits,
yeah.
and so that I can move them around.
Oh, that's nice.
So I've done some scenes, and I've put them up on in some of the Facebook groups. But I've done some scenes with the people that I have and the vehicles that I have.
That's cool. So they're interchangeable then.
Exactly, and so I
That's
can have
awesome.
things. I can have certain people over here. I can put them over across, and I've done a couple of different scenes. Prizer makes a few. I think there's 4 sets total of paramedics and like ambulance workers. And I have all 4 of those. And then what I did was, after I had collected all 4 of them, I ended up buying them a few more times, and then I did some painting. So, for instance, they come. Everybody's wearing white shoes, white pants, and white shirts with the high vis orange jackets on,
Yeah.
and bare hands. So the first thing I did was I mixed up a color for light blue nitrile gloves, and I painted everybody's hands.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
now everybody's wearing gloves. So
Right.
now when you're doing things it's more realistic.
Yeah, it's more safe.
Today. Yeah, and safe. Yeah, absolutely. And then I was like, I'm sure in Europe it's very different, but here there's nobody wearing white pants. That like the white pants is like a hospital thing.
Yeah,
And
right.
nobody out in the streets is wearing white pants because
No, they're usually darker. If you're a paramedic, they're darker, like
yeah.
jump
So like
overs or...
I mean, most of the places around me, like the navy blue is like the standard, like and then I did some actually. Yeah, I did some. It's over that way. Yeah, I did some. So that's what the guys at Boston EMS, Boston EMS kind of look like. Brown pants with the high vis, and so I did those, and then I did like dark blue pants for a lot of for some of the other ones. It also
That's
like
neat.
it also differentiated, like, so now if I have multiple different ambulances, now the guys look different too, to go with
Right.
those with the different ambulances. And
Yeah, that's cool.
so those are like relatively recent. I haven't even put those on like stands yet, but the stuff upstairs, I've taken some photos. I did like a hazmat thing where I ended up, I took the cap off of, like Prizer makes 55-gallon drums, and I found a set of those, and they make the caps that are separate, so you can have the caps off, And then, so what I did was I put it sideways with the cap off, and then I took some Elmer's glue and I put it on the non-stick cookie sheet, and I made it so that it looked like a spill.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then you gently peel it off, and it's clear,
Right,
but it
right.
looks like something's there.
Yeah, looks still
And
wet, like it's
yeah,
dripping and
exactly.
puddle.
So it looks like it's wet, and then I
Yeah.
put that up on like the middle of the street, and then had the truck tipped over and
Oh, that's
out of an
cool.
accident. Yeah. So
That's a neat idea.
yeah, I come up with that. You know, it was all right. No, it works out well. Um, maybe you can edit in a photo if you want. I can send it to you of that. If you feel like.
Yeah, send it to me. I'm in the mix of right now
Mhm.
actually looking for an editing software. I don't have one yet, but by the time this goes up, I should have it,
Okay.
hopefully. So
Yeah.
I'll be able to inlay those photos or that photo. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So send it to me anyways, and then
Absolutely.
cross my fingers.
So yeah, I had that, and then I have Prizer makes a set of hazmat guys. So then I have like the hazmat guys. That set has guys that are already suited up, and then it has one where like a firefighter is assisting another firefighter like getting the suit on, because
Oh, that's
that's
neat.
always a 2-man type of thing.
Right.
Um,
Because somebody's got to zip you up in the back. You
yeah,
can't do it yourself.
no, and there's parts that like you have to duct tape like yourself at the
Yeah,
wrists.
right, right.
So
I need one with a yellow hazmat suit. I need one figurine with a yellow hazmat suit. I need to make the Back to the Future scene where he drives into the barn.
yep.
And he comes out wearing that yellow hazmat suit. That's what I need.
Well, I'll tell you what, they make them. The Prizer does have that, so
Nice.
they got they have red, yellow, white, and I think there's a green one.
I
So
just need
if
yellow.
you take a look,
I'll
I
have to
bet you
look
they
for it.
have it, and
Yeah.
I would be willing even to get the set, keep the rest of the guys, and then just mail you one, like the one.
Right. Shoot, I'll just buy that for you from you. You know that
Yeah,
one because I only need one. I don't need all of them because it's gonna be like a little tiny diorama scene. So I
yeah,
don't need to switch out the guy to make him in other scenes. He only we're wearing that in that one scene
exactly,
basically.
absolutely.
So yeah, that'd be awesome. And I'm not building that anytime soon, so take your time.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, like, I've found that, and I've tried to do this a little bit. That's an unreleased project I have right now, but I have one of the River Point F350s, and what I did was I used coffee stirrers to make like a back for like a leaf truck, and what I built was like I built it up in the back so that it's like taller, and I
Mhm.
used the wood plank so that it was still wood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool.
And you've definitely seen trucks like around with that, where it was like 2x4s, like built up on the back of it. So
Right.
I did that with coffee stirrers, and it looked okay. Um, now that I'm saying that, I got to get back to that.
That's funny because there's another guy, Mark something, Mark. His last name starts with a K. Anyways, he said these podcasts got him back into modeling cars. I was like, that's cool. And then when he was doing the podcast, he was on it. He's like, I can't thank you enough because you gave me the inspiration and the drive to want to do it again and to get back into it. And now I can't stop thinking about the next thing I'm going to do and the next car I'm going to build and all the cars I forgot to build before. It's all coming back to me. So yeah, get back to that coffee
I
store
like
truck.
that. So like a lot of the stuff that I've done that's not necessarily ambulance related, but is on my layout has been like inspired by like just living life, you
Hmm.
know, like you're just like, I'll be out driving, as someone who drives the ambulance. I spend a lot of time on the road.
Right.
That's the job. And so I'll just be driving someplace, not necessarily emergently, but like driving from hospital to hospital, and I'll just like see something and I'll be like, oh, that would be an interesting build.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I'll go to the hospital and I'll see a truck that I've never seen before, and I'm like, oh, that would be interesting too.
Yeah.
Like I was at one hospital one time and I saw this huge Freightliner truck that was like the quad cab, and it had like this it had a huge box on it. And I came home and I was looking at the sheet styrene I have, and I was like, I gotta figure this out.
That's cool. You should do that. That's what I do. I kind of build like today's stuff as well. I mean, besides the movie cars I build, everything I build is, if you were driving down the road and you saw it, that's what you would see today. Like all my hot rods, it's if you were going to a car show today, that's what was sitting at the car show, is those hot rods. I don't do a lot of period stuff. Even my classic cars that I make period correct, I make them more like show car period correct. So it looks like, again, you went to a car show and there they were sitting at a car show. Because even though I like classic cars, the time frame of classic cars I like is today's version of what the classic cars are, car show wise, or you kept it in the garage for half, your life, because now it's so sentimental for you. It's still perfect looking and whatnot. And it's not really, I don't do a lot of rust buckets. Unless they're rat rods, but even the rat rods are modern day rust buckets turned into hot rods.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do. I like the old stuff, but I like it in a modern setting.
I understand.
Yeah, you need to get some of your ambulances lit up like this. I think you'll like them a little bit more.
I was gonna say I like having looking at yours all lit up like that.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. They run off of a D battery because I don't have a layout. So they asked me, how do you want these lit up? And I was like, I don't care. Just light them up. But yeah, I don't have a layout, and I don't ever plan on getting a layout. So it is what it is. But there's two different kinds of lights on these. One is a slower light, and then the other one's a fast light. But yeah, you need to look into getting these for your layout, your cars to light up.
Yeah.
Like them a little more. It brings like life to the vehicle. Oh, you know what I was going to ask you? You drive an ambulance.
I do.
Doesn't that siren drive you crazy after hearing it for just a little bit? I mean, it's the same noise all day, every day that you got to go to, that you have to turn it on with.
It doesn't.
Really? That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it drives me crazy just hearing it for a few seconds.
Yeah. But it's kind of engineered that way, and
for the driver not to be annoyed, but for everybody else
like
to.
for it's kind of like humans can get used to anything. So like,
True.
At first, like when I was new, like I don't hear it anymore. It's basically what I'm saying.
Wow.
Like you tune it out because you have like
good.
There's a lot of things
That's
more.
really...
There's a lot of other things to focus on. Like when you get there, like these things have to get done, and you have to watch out for, because like these days, like people are texting and driving, and so you have to watch your own behind.
I don't know if you're gonna hear this. I'm gonna try because I have my headpiece in, and I can't really move my computer like I used to move my phone. Maybe I move this a little bit closer. I've got this. What happened? What just happened? Hold on. Coming back. There. I don't know what I did. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. Hold on. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I couldn't tell what it was, but I did hear it.
Okay, that's the siren to the Ghostbusters car. It's there.
Oh, okay.
That is one of the most annoying noises ever. Now, I watched the movie a billion times and I realized exactly how long they put it in each scene, and they only put it in for seconds at a time, so it wasn't overwhelming and annoying.
Yeah.
But you have that on like a whole entire show. Your brain will explode. So that's why I was wondering, your siren in your ambulance. I mean, I know you have a couple different, I think, switches to change up, like extra. You have the main siren going on, and then you have like the intersection siren. It's like, get the heck out of the way.
Yep.
And then I don't know if you have other ones, but all of that just, even though you're driving and you get to play with the switches to go through the intersection, change it up, you still don't really hear it that much, huh? Because you just got used to it.
I'm not really thinking about like the siren like itself. I'm thinking about like looking around, looking at the intersections that I'm going through.
Right, making sure you don't run
and
people
also,
over
like,
and hit cars.
Yeah, and also in the back of my head thinking about like, there's certain things that need to take place within a certain amount of time once we get there, because you're given a certain amount of information, but then like the rest of the information you have to gather, and you also have to like control your scene too.
Right. So, as an ambulance driver, is the law for you to still drive the speed limit, or can you go faster than the speed limit?
So in Massachusetts, I can go 10 miles above the speed limit.
That's the normal speed of traffic, anyways.
Exactly.
So you're not going any faster than the traffic.
No. So there's been like data that places have collected where it says like between just driving with the traffic and using the lights and sirens and going through red lights, that like you save maybe 2 minutes per call, sometimes less than that. So I mean it's
because you still have to slow down through the intersection just to be safe.
Absolutely.
I mean, you probably don't have to, but it's more safer too, so you do it.
Like in this state, if I pull up to an intersection and the light's red for me and I don't stop, I'm breaking the law.
Oh, you still have to stop?
So I have to stop for a second, look, clear the intersection, and then proceed.
North Carolina, they drive through it, but they go slower. So they'll probably go 25 miles an hour compared to maybe the 40 they were doing down the road or whatever. But they're blaring their horn, beep, 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 and then they got the special siren noise through the intersection, so you hear it from a long ways away. Still, here's what's crazy. I don't know about your state, but in California, where I'm born and raised, you pull over for law enforcement, police, fire, rescue, whatever. You pull over and you stop. North Carolina, it's not like you're even on the road. Nobody cares. Nobody pulls over for you at all. And it just blows my mind.
That's how it is in the cities. In in Boston, that's how it is. Because like every third car is an ambulance, so like people sometimes don't even pull over.
That's crazy to me. Like you should be able to have like a camera, like a red light camera. You should have a camera on the front of your car, take a picture of the license plate that don't get out of your way. And don't slow down, don't move over, don't do nothing. I
Yeah,
mean, maybe in a traffic jam situation, understandable, but if there's clear that you can move over, what the hell are you doing by not moving over?
I don't know how it is in North Carolina, but here, like, if the ambulance is coming behind you or a fire engine or
Mhm.
whatever, right? And it's red, and for you, like the law is written so that like if it's red for you and like it's safe to do so, like you can go through there to get out of the way. Like you can go through the red to get out of the way.
Yeah, no, well, I don't know. I when I got my license out here, they made me redo the written and the visual. And I don't remember how it was in California because I was like 15 when I got, or like right turning 16 when I got my license. I'm 40 now, so that was a long time ago. But out here, they took out all the symbols of the signs and just had the shape of the sign. And you were supposed to remember what each one of those signs were without what was the symbol in the inside of the sign was supposed to be. Nobody remembers that stuff. Anyways, but the written, I don't remember anything about the law enforcement on having to be you pull over for them or, fire rescue, whatever. I don't remember any part of that in the driver's test period. But in California, no matter what, you pull over, everybody pulls over. Even if you didn't actually come to a dead stop like you're supposed to, and they just creeped along, you still pulled over. Out
Yeah,
here, nobody gives a shit who you are
yeah,
out here. They're gonna drive the way they want to, and there could be a cop right behind you, and it's like, don't care. Not that I've ever seen that where there was a cop behind somebody and they just kept driving, but it seems like that's not even a law out here that needs to be obeyed by. So nobody does it. It's like the most insane thing in the world to me.
yeah. That's crazy.
Because obviously, if you have your lights on, there's a reason for it. So get the hell out of your way so you can go save that person's life. But I mean, that's a logical thought path. But North Carolina now, we're kind of them Southern folk. I don't know how
Yeah,
much logic we got out here.
fair enough.
Yeah, that's crazy. Um, yeah, man. Well, hey, do you got anything else you want to talk about, or are you good? Because I'm kind of all out of ideas and questions.
All right. Yeah. I just have I have one more question for you. Have you ever seen somebody do like in real life or in HO? Have you ever seen a like a hot rod Cadillac ambulance?
um, I've seen it in 125th scale.
Okay,
And then I've seen plenty of photoshopped photos of people making their own versions of that. And then Hot Wheels actually makes a 59 Cadillac hearse that's a drag racing car. So
okay,
they got the drag racing chassis underneath with the big engine sticking out, the pipes coming underneath the body, and then the body lifts up like this. So everything's like from the nose to like almost to the very back is stretched. Like so the nose is super long for that engine and the long funny car stance. And then the like say the car ends here, then you got the window frame and then it shortens up real quick for it to kind of like be real stubby in the back. But Hot Wheels made a drag racing hearse, but not in HO 187 scale, not yet, because I have an idea. There's a, and I want to do it with the 59 Cadillac because the Photoshop illustration I saw was a 59 hearse, regular bodied, all drag carred out. And then on the back, like right here, from the rear wheels up to the middle of the body, it was cut out for like the big slick tires to fit under there. And when you saw it from the back, you would see like huge slicks. But it also had a parachute in the back too. So I don't know. It's been an idea. I saw that Photoshop illustration. I was like, dang, I don't know if I want to spend $40 on that Ghostbusters car just to cut it up to make a drag version of it. It would be cool, but I don't know.
Well,
I could just I could
there's
do it with
cheaper
those
ones out
cheapy
there.
ones. Yeah.
So
But I
like,
saw the 59 Cadillac version. I was like, oh, I love this. So I don't know.
I don't know what year the I have the one from I have this one.
Oh, that's a
And
Merc. That's a Merc that never really was. That's a lifelike or
the
whatever
lifelike, yeah.
Merc. It's a 49 to 51 Merc that has
Okay.
never been, that never was. I don't know why they chose that stupid car to make a hearse out of, an
Interesting.
ambulance, but Merc's, Mercury never made an ambulance hearse.
Yeah, I have that one, and then I have all of the Bush ones that are
Yeah, those are
19.
66.
Yeah, and then I
66
think they have
Cadillacs.
70s too. And then
Yes.
I have their 50s ones.
Right, the 50s ones are cool. It's like a 53, I think. 52,
Yeah, they made
53.
4 of those, 5, 6. They made 6 different ones of those.
Right, those
And
are
then
really nice.
I have the Praline 50s ones, and then I have the Praline later ones. I have the Best in Show Buick, and
Oh,
I have
that's nice.
the 2 new Neo 66 Cadillacs with the raised roofs.
So I'm going to show you something that I made out of the Shapeways 59 Cadillac. So I made the original 59 Cadillac Ghostbusters car. I think back in 16 or 17, and I made it with sticker decals instead of actual decals.
Yep.
What did I just drop? Something major fell. I don't know. And I never liked it, but it was the first time I ever built it, and it was the first 3D printed Ghostbusters car I bought, and I was just excited to get it done, so I hurried up and did it. And then the 187 scale website published it, and it got its recognition, but I never liked it. I couldn't stand the way it looked because it was done real quick. The stickers were super thick, so it wouldn't sit flush on the body. And I finally said, screw it. I've got these other ones. I'm going to take that apart. And I made a hearse, 59 Cadillac hearse, out of that Shapeways body. And it's a hollow car, so it's got the holes on the bottom. And I cut the wheels out and I put different wheels in there. I think these wheels are, I don't know what these wheels are, but they're just resin wheels that were casted. And then I put tape, what kind of tape? I think not duct tape, painter's tape. I put painter's tape on the roof to make a vinyl top. And so it's like, I don't know what you call it, but it has texture to the roof because of that tape. And yeah, I love this thing because it's probably the only 59 Cadillac hearse in this scale anywhere that's been posted online, because I haven't seen anybody make one.
That's beautiful. I like that.
Yeah, and it's super traditional, just all black, got that chrome strip down the body line, and it's got those whatever you want to call those wings or things on the quarter windows.
Squiggles.
Yeah, squiggles. I made it out of solder too. But yeah, it's super basic, and I actually like this so much more than I liked the version of the Ghostbusters car. But that was the first Ghostbusters car I ever made, so it had to get made.
Yeah. No, I like that. Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you. But out of emergency vehicles, uh, I got a flatbed tow truck. That's not really emergency, but
Yeah.
and then I've got these Ghostbusters cars, and those are the only. Oh, I got a fire truck, a 1950s Ford fire truck that Woodland Scenics makes that I got in a trade. I was going to lower and customize it and keep the fire logo on it, whatnot. Other than that, yeah, I don't have anything law
I have that
enforcement.
for I have a little car show going on at the diner that I have on my layout, and I have one of those Woodland Scenics fire trucks. That I ended up getting that on eBay because every time I saw it at the so uh, there's two hobby stores that are like kind of close to me, and I saw them at both of them, and it was just I was every time I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is so nice, but I really can't justify the like $50 to $60 like price tag on it.
Right.
So I saw it on eBay for like 25, and
Nice.
I was like, all right, I can't pass that up. And I ended up snagging it, and I when I opened it, like everything fell off of it, and I was like,
Oh,
oh, this is
why
this
it was
is
so
like
cheap.
really nice. This is like way nicer than I thought. And
Yeah.
so I put everything back on, and then I put it up there, and then I put it up there with the Neo 66 Cadillac that I have,
Hmm.
and then I have a I think it's Oxford makes a 50s police car. I have
I
that.
think
So
so.
like that.
Yes.
So like now that's like all the emergency services, and then I have like a bunch of the Oxford like show cars.
Hmm.
Um,
Nice.
uh, 50s, 60s stuff. I have the Bel Air, Nomad, you know, classic, like nice stuff. And then I put a Roco Jeep in there too.
Oh, right on. I have one other law enforcement car, but the two brothers took it over and drove through Chicago and made the world's biggest car wreck ever in it. So I have
I've heard of
that
that.
Blues Brothers car, but
Yeah,
it's not law enforcement after they take it over. But
yeah,
it's still I got the decals for the Blues Brothers car movie car, and so the star is on the door, but it's really faded and you
yeah.
know
It's I remember that being like them having a line. It's almost like someone took off like whatever
police
like police
enforcement it was
department
from.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, in the
Well, like
beginning of the movie, he tells his brother Jim Belushi, or not Jim Belushi, whatever his name is. He tells him why he bought that car, and it's because it had the cop package included
yeah,
in the car.
yeah.
So the bigger engine and the spotlights and all the other stuff. Yeah, I have that one, but I don't really. I only have that one because of the movie, not because of the car and the law
Yeah.
enforcement.
Well,
But
actually, if you remember uh, Steve Earle, Copperhead Road, he says that like his grandfather that was like doing moonshining had a car that was bought at a police auction,
right,
and
right, right.
they spray primered over it.
Yeah. Well, we have we have right next to where we have our train shows in the next city over, there's actually a like a selling car dealership where they sell all ex law enforcement vehicles. So they keep all the same color combo, the black and white. They just take the light bars off and the decals of whatever police department it's for,
Yeah.
and probably detune it, I'm sure, but maybe not. I don't know. They don't mind keeping the spotlights on there though, so they just
No,
sell.
I've seen like ones driving around like that around here. there's one like guy that lives like near me that has the when the Chargers first came back and like police departments bought them, he has like a
Mhm.
black and white Charger that still has the spotlights on it, and
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
the perfect sleeper vehicle.
yeah, it's like if you were also if you were like not necessarily a big fan of police and like you saw that driving behind you, you'd be like,
Right.
gotta
Yeah.
take it easy.
Well, here's another funny thing. Out here in North Carolina, they don't have a law against putting stupid lights underneath your car to shine or around your car to shine. So you can get strobe lights to blink off of each other, and
Yeah,
it's not against the law out here, which is
yeah, that's
still
kind of
unbelievable. So if you really wanted to buy one of those cars and then just add that little stupid package to your car, just to speed down the freeway and get people to move out of your way, that's the perfect car.
yeah. There was one around here when the new Transformers car, like the new Transformers movies came out. There was a car around here that had the Decepticons logo on the hood, and it was a police car, and it said like instead of saying to protect and serve, it said like to enslave and something else.
Oh,
And dude, there was like a big thing on Facebook about it. Like people seeing that car and like getting upset about it because
oh wow.
it was the same thing. Was it like what like a brand new Charger with the black and white, and it had like a police esque logo on the
Right,
even
right.
even though it said like Decepticon,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and people not understanding, and like so
Right.
there was like a big thing on Facebook and like the groups that I'm in like about like their EMTs and paramedics and stuff being like how is this allowed, like this
Yeah.
car just like rolling around looking like a police car, but it was like viral advertisement for the Transformers movies.
Right. Which is just a dumb thing, in my opinion. The movies do their own advertisement. We don't need
Yeah.
somebody to put that logo on your car to do it. But here's a funny thing. I was watching this YouTube channel. Well, I watch it every time they post a new episode, but there's a YouTube guy in LA that had a Mercedes, a four-door Mercedes, but he painted it black and white with the white doors and the black car, or maybe it was vice versa. And then he made a makeshift cop logo on the door, but it didn't say cop. It didn't say anything. It just had this makeshift logo. And then the
Yeah.
police actually pulled him over and then gave him a ticket to fix that because you can't imitate a police even though it didn't say police anywhere on the car.
Yeah.
And I thought that's kind of what should have happened, really. Because why imitate something like that? Now, it's one thing to have a black and white car, but have the logos taken completely off. But to
Yeah.
pretend to have it look like a cop car, even though it's not a cop car, it's a Mercedes. It was weird. It was a neat idea just to see if you would get caught, and that's what happened. He got caught.
Yeah.
So they did what they should have done. Well, man, it's 10 o'clock. It
Is it?
is
Wow.
10 o'clock.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy how time flies when you're
It
talking to
is.
cool people that
Yeah,
enjoy the same
definitely.
stuff you enjoy? Yeah. I I never realized sometimes, like I was talking to Kim Patterson and we talked for over 3 hours.
Wow.
That was insane. It didn't even seem like that long. We could have talked all night,
Yeah,
really.
absolutely.
So, um, if you're good, if you don't have anything else to say, we can
Nope.
end this and
Nope.
have another episode down.
All right.
But if you want to hold on real quick, we'll say our goodbyes. I'll just end the recording.
Absolutely.
Everybody, this was Jeff and his awesome ambulances. I'll put a link in the description below of his Facebook group, or I'm sorry, his Facebook page. If you want to contact him about a certain kind of ambulance, he's probably got all the information for you about it, probably. And then I'll even put a link for Circuit City decals. So in case you have an ambulance that they have the decals for, It's a lot easier to look it up. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for viewing. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, if you like this content, and comment if you like too. It helps the channel grow. With that being said, you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye. All right, everybody. That was Jeff Noyes. Pretty interesting guy. He seemed to really have a passion for this hobby, which is great. Because we're always needing more people in this hobby. A lot of our senior citizens that are in this hobby, they're not going to last very much longer. So we need new blood before this hobby dies. Jeff Noyes was a really nice guy, really cool insight in his world and how he sees things. And I mean, he's a paramedic too. So, you know, thanks for your services on that. I enjoyed this interview. He opened my eyes to things that I never knew about, and sound like I opened his eyes to things he didn't hear about. And before I got off the interview with him, saying our goodbyes and thanks for being on the show, me and him might have something coming down the tube here soon. So pay attention to that, and we'll see what happens because it sounds interesting. Anyways, like I said, in the interview, I'll have a link for his information in the description below. So look out for that if you want any information from him or about him, or if you have any questions about anything that he knows a whole world of. He's the guy to answer, to ask. He's the guy to ask. And don't forget, there's also a link to the Patreon. You don't have to go to it, but if you did, it would help me out. And it'd help these videos out, make them look better. Because like he said, he's going to shoot me a picture of that, whatever he said he was going to shoot me a picture of. You see that? I already forgot what he said. Oh my gosh. Whatever he said he's going to shoot me a picture of to overlay that on top of this interview, I'm looking into that editing software. And so that Patreon would definitely help in for paying that, so I can get it. But like I said, you don't have to. I'm not going to force you guys to do anything. The fact that you guys even watch this or listen to it is enough for me. And with that being said, it's late and I need to go to bed. So you guys have a great night, great day, and see you on the next video. Hasta la vista, baby.